Imagine, if you will, a lion, shivering in the shadows, too terrified to step into the sunlight. Our story begins in the heart of the jungle where a mighty lion, once the king of all he surveyed, has succumbed to an overpowering fear. This lion, this regal symbol of courage and strength, now cowers in his cave, afraid of the world beyond. Once he roamed free, his roars echoing through the vast expanse of the wilderness, his presence commanding respect from all creatures, big and small. His pride looked up to him, relying on his leadership, his protection. But now, the Lion King, trapped in the icy grip of fear, finds himself a prisoner in his own home. His fear has formed a wall, an invisible barrier separating him from his pride, from his responsibilities, from life itself. His world, once filled with the thrill of the hunt, the camaraderie of his pride, the simple joy of basking in the sun, has now shrunk to the confines of his dark, dreary cave. His roar, once a proclamation of power and authority, has now become a whimper, echoing his despair and loneliness. The king of the jungle, the epitome of courage and strength, now lives in isolation. His fear crippling him, preventing him from fulfilling his role, from living his life to the fullest. His pride, his kingdom, his life, all seem to be slipping away from him, consumed by the monster of fear that has taken residence in his heart. But what if I told you this lion isn't so different from you and me? Just like him, we too have our fears and insecurities that hold us back, that keep us from stepping out of our comfort zones, that prevent us from embracing life in all its glory. But fear is just a state of mind, and it's up to us to conquer it, to reclaim our lives. So are you ready to step out of your cave? Are you ready to face your fears? Let's find out in the next scene. Fear, my dear viewer, isn't exclusive to the animal kingdom, it's a human condition. It's a force that can paralyze us, constrain our potential, and mold us into versions of ourselves that we may not recognize. It's like a lion, majestic yet fearful, prowling in the shadows of our minds. Imagine, if you will, a lion, the king of the jungle, yet fear-stricken. He's afraid of the unknown, afraid of venturing into new territories, afraid of the unseen threats that might lurk in the shadows. Just like this lion, we too allow fear to hold us back. Fear, in its essence, is often irrational. It's not always indicative of real danger. More often than not, it is a manifestation of our insecurities, of past experiences that have left scars on our psyche. Think about it. How many times have you been held back by the fear of failure or rejection? How often have you refrained from exploring new opportunities, simply because the fear of the unknown loomed large? Just as the lion fears the unfamiliar territories, we fear the unfamiliar aspects of life. But does that make the fear real, or is it simply a figment of our imagination, a shadow of our insecurities? The lion in his fear confines himself to the known, the comfortable. He misses out on the thrill of the hunt, the joy of exploration, the satisfaction of conquering new territories. Similarly, our fears keep us shackled to our comfort zones, denying us the chance to grow, to learn, to experience the thrill of taking risks and overcoming challenges. Fear, you see, is a double-edged sword. It can protect us, yes, but it can also prevent us from realizing our full potential. It can keep us safe, but it can also keep us stagnant. The lion's fear kept him in the dark, just as our fears keep us from embracing the light of opportunities. But fear, like any other emotion, can be controlled, can be overcome. It's a truth that many of us are uncomfortable with, a truth that we shy away from. Our lion, too, found this concept hard to grasp. Fear had been his constant companion, his shadow in the grasslands. But here's the thing about shadows: they are not the objects themselves, just an illusion created by the absence of light. Fear, too, is an illusion of our mind, a creation of our thoughts. Our lion started to realize this. He understood that fear was a part of him, much like his golden mane or his thunderous roar. He acknowledged it, accepted it. This acceptance was his first step on the path to courage. This path, however, was not an easy one. It was strewn with challenges, with uncertainties. But each challenge was an opportunity for our lion to confront his fear, to stare it in the face and say, "I'm not afraid of you." Each small step he took, each small victory he achieved, was a step towards courage, towards freedom from fear. He began with small things, like venturing out a little farther into the grasslands, facing other animals he'd usually avoid. Each encounter, each confrontation with his fear, made him a little braver, a little stronger. But it's important to remember that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Our lion was still afraid, but he was not controlled by his fear. He learned to live with it, to use it as a tool to sharpen his instincts, to heighten his awareness. He learned that fear is not a weakness, but a part of life, a part of him. Each day was a new challenge, a new opportunity to confront his fear, to grow stronger, to become braver. Each day he walked a little farther on the path to courage, leaving the shadow of fear a little farther behind. And so, the lion begins his journey towards courage, much like we must embark on ours. Insecurities, much like fear, are an integral part of our lives. They are the silent whispers of doubt that dance in the corners of our minds, the uninvited guests at the table of our confidence. Insecurities, like shadows, grow larger and more intimidating the more we turn our backs to them. But just as a shadow is nothing without light, insecurities are nothing without our attention. Consider our friend, the lion, once paralyzed by his fear of the unknown. His fear was born from his insecurities, his doubts about his ability to face the challenges that lay beyond his cave. But as he began to accept these insecurities, he realized that they were not his enemies, but his allies. They were not there to hold him back, but to push him forward. They were not indications of his weakness, but reminders of his potential strength. Now imagine if the lion had chosen to ignore his insecurities, to bury them deep within him. His fear would have remained, gnawing at his courage, chipping away at his resolve. But by acknowledging and accepting his insecurities, he transformed them. He turned the spotlight onto his doubts, and in the harsh light of introspection, they shrunk back, revealing a path towards courage and confidence. The lion's journey is not unlike ours. We all have our caves, our safe zones that we hesitate to step out of. Our insecurities might make us question our abilities, our worth, our potential, but remember, insecurities are not our downfall. They are our stepping stones. They are the challenges we must face to discover our true strength. Accepting our insecurities does not mean allowing them to dictate our lives. It means acknowledging their presence, understanding their roots, and then using them as catalysts for growth and change. It means turning the spotlight onto them and allowing the light of self-awareness to diminish their power over us. Just as the lion accepted his insecurities and overcame his fear, we too can transform our doubts into strength. As the lion steps out of his cave, so should we step out of our comfort zones. We should embrace our insecurities not as limitations but as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. The journey to courage isn't easy, but it's worth every step. Imagine the lion from our parable. He was once crippled by fear, living in the shadows, but he found the strength to confront his fears and overcome them. With every step he took toward courage, he reclaimed a piece of his life. His world expanded, and so did his spirit. The once fearful king of the jungle roared with a newfound sense of power and freedom, a testament to his journey of courage. Our lives too can transform in such profound ways when we decide to face our fears head-on. We may feel like that lion, trembling in the face of fear, but remember, fear is just an emotion, a response to perceived danger. It's not always a reflection of reality. Think about it. How many times have we let fear dictate our actions? How many opportunities have we missed out on because we were afraid to take that leap of faith? Fear can trap us in a cage of our own making, but we hold the key to that cage. We have the power to unlock it and step into a world full of opportunities and experiences that we could only dream of while we were shackled by our fears. Overcoming fear isn't about eradicating it completely, it's about understanding it, accepting it, and learning to navigate through it. It's about shifting our perspective, seeing fear not as a roadblock but as a stepping stone toward growth and self-improvement. And the beautiful thing is, every step we take toward overcoming our fear, every insecurity we accept and learn to navigate, adds to our strength. It shapes us into more resilient, more courageous individuals. Each step is a victory, a testament to our strength and perseverance. The journey ahead may be filled with challenges and uncertainties, but remember, the lion didn't become the king of the jungle overnight. It's a journey, a process, one that requires patience, perseverance, and a whole lot of courage. Just like the lion, we too can conquer our fears and reclaim our lives. So what's your cave and what's keeping you in the shadows? It's time to step into the light. Share your fears, your insecurities. They don't define you, they make you human. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Your story could be the beacon of hope for someone else. Your courage could inspire others to find their own. So let's start a conversation. Join our pride, subscribe to our channel, and together, let's step into the sunlight.